everyone. Today we have a special presentation that we'll be giving you. And here with me, I have somebody that you guys are very much acquainted with, or Brother Clifford. Hi, Brother Cliff.
Hi.
But we're doing something a little bit different today. Brother Clifford has a very compelling story about his life, which we believe that will help a lot of people out there in their struggles and with their growth. And today I wanted to do a little sit down with you, Brother Cliff, so that you can give your story so that people can understand better your passion and your drive for Christ, the church, marriage. Why is it that you fight for the things that you fight for, and why you love God the way you do? I feel like your story will help to break this down and give a clearer understanding.
Okay.
So how are you feeling today?
Well, I've been blessed. I'm blessed.
So I'm gonna ask you a little bit. What I want you to do is to take me back to like where were you born, and like what was that environment like? I want you to give our audience a little backdrop before we get into the meat of the matter.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, Brother Williams, he doesn't do nothing without praise. So, yes. Brother Williams, I'm gonna let you pray before you tell your story.
Let us pray. Almighty God, I want to give you thanks for your keeping care, tender mercy. From birth till now, you have been faithful. Even when we cannot trace you, oh God, you are still faithful. So help us to trust you in all situations. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share where you have brought me from. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. So, as I asked before, I just want you to give us a little bit of background on when you were born and your situation, like as much as you can remember.
Okay. Well, I was, not to give away my age, I was born mid 60 to late 60. And so, that gives you an idea as to, yes. And I was born in Kingston 11.
Okay, so you're from urban Jamaica, the city.
Yes.
And what was the political atmosphere back then in the 60s? What was it like?
Well, honest, it was good. It was good. I remember that, school was fun. You go to school, you would get gifts coming home, you get uniform material to take home, you get, grocery to take home. And so it was fun. It was a lot of, fun just going to school and just to enjoy the process. And what I remember, my slate, we didn't have books. We had something we call slate, and you have a slate pencil, and if your parents were rich, you'd have the slate with the beads up top that you could count.
Okay.
If your parents not rich, they just give you a plain slate. And and that was it was good.
So, like, in spite of everything that was happening, you're saying that there was happiness at that time.
Yes, there was a lot of happiness. But there was something that a near-death experience from a very early age. I remember.
Before you jump there.
Yes.
Take it up. So that was like your overall experience. But I want to ask you, what was your home like? A little bit. Like, what was your home environment?
My home environment, there was a lot of love. A lot of love. I was the baby of the family, and so I was sheltered a lot. There was some traumatic events that take place in my life. Very young too. But all in all, the overall picture was love and happiness. It was because the community was a very nice community.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good.
Okay. So you said that you had a near-death experience at an early age. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, my mom went to work, and I think it was my sister who took me to daycare. And the person that
And how old were you at that point?
I was around 3, 4.
And you remember?
I remember.
Wow.
This lady, when I went to her house, to me, she looked like a ghost. She was old. There was wrinkle on her face. And I didn't want to stay. So I ran away from her. And one particular, place that I could clearly remember, there was a stone passage in which I had to go through to go across Spanish Town Road, which was a major highway in Jamaica. And I remember going through that passageway. I don't remember anything after that. But my siblings and my mom, told me that, I was hit by a van.
Wow.
But in the running, I should tell you that there was an older boy around, I think he was like 11, 12, was chasing after me, and he could not catch me. And I got knocked down by that van, and I was taken to the hospital. And I just remember going through that stone, passage, and my mom told me that when she came in the hospital, she said no, that wasn't her son. She said my face, my nose, my nose was all lift apart, and
wow.
it was. She said it was that sight that she wanted to see, and she was crying and believed that I wouldn't make it. But God would have it differently. I don't remember suffer any broken bones, just apart from my nose and my damage to my head, and all of that. But God was there.
And one of the reasons why Brother Williams want to tell his story, and he has so much in his story, but he's just like building up to that, was that as you grew up, these near-death experience occurred like over and over. It was a part of your life that is like something that just kept occurring as you went through your life.
Yes.
And these are some of the things that you just wanted to share to show how God delivered you.
Yes. And I remember the first time I decided to sleep out.
Was that with permission from your parents, or was
No.
it just something that you decided to do?
My mom decided to because back then in Jamaica, our parents would exercise capital punishment, beat us mercilessly.
Wow.
And my mom was you could call her a single parent. Yes, I had a stepdad, but no contribution to to help. So she was pressured, and so anything that she could find, she would use to exercise punishment. And so I was. She decided that she was going to beat me once, and I decided, listen, I'm not going to take it tonight.
Like, how old were you at that point?
I was 11.
Okay.
11, going into 12, and she decided not to. I decided not to take it, and it was maybe a bit older, because I remember it was just a little bit after. Just before the election, 1980 election, and I decided to sleep out that night, and I slept on the street with some guys, some questionable characters, guys who, and one incident when they saw a light coming, and everyone they had illegal firearm. And at the time when
when you decided to be around them, did you know exactly what company you were going to be in?
Yeah, those guys were my neighborhood, kids that I grew up with, but they did not have.
So you felt safe.
Yes,
even
I felt
you knew
safe.
They had guns and stuff like that. You didn't feel like they would be a threat
Yes,
to you.
yes,
Okay.
exactly, because they were like my neighbors.
Yeah.
Who did not have the parental guidance. Their parents was not as strict as mine.
Yeah.
And so they would always be on the street, and the time that that I choose to take the firearm from them was the time when the car and everybody.
So how did it get that you were taking a firearm from somebody?
Well, you're on the street and everybody want to feel what it is like.
Oh, so you were being curious.
Yeah, just being curious. I wanted to to hold a gun at the time, and just
was
then,
this like your first time touching a gun?
yes.
Okay.
And
you were like possibly around 13.
yeah, 12, 13, yeah.
Which is a very young age to be exposed to an illegal firearm.
Yes, yes. And they run. I could not run, and so I hid behind a column.
So was that the cops coming?
Yes, and
wow.
I was there praying.
And you had the gun in your hands
at
this point when the cops were
exactly.
coming. Wow.
And I was there praying, and God would have it that they passed, and everything was okay. Everybody came back, and and asked me why I didn't run.
So was it that you froze?
I don't know if I froze. If you call
because
it
I mean
froze
it's a
or,
new experience for you, and this was all
I've
happening.
never-
Like, you're being so unlucky that at the point that you decide to touch this, the cops are coming. So is it could it
Exactly.
be that you had frozen at that point, like you didn't know what to do?
You could call it that. I maybe, yeah. Looking back in hindsight, I would think that. Just not used to,
So
being
after
out.
the cops passed, did you give up the gun and go home?
No, I gave it up, but I didn't go home because my mom would not open the door,
Wow.
to let me in. So you decide to stay out. You gotta stay out.
Mm-hmm.
So I stayed out that night, and and so that was my first bleach. We call it bleach in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
My first night out of my, the care of my own.
Mm-hmm. But that also opened your brain to something totally new, to what the streets was like.
Yes.
Did that give you an excitement, like a curiosity, like I want to do it again? Like how did that make you feel after you went home?
There was some mixed feelings because okay, let me backtrack a little. Because during the 80s, which that's one of the era that I really wanted to speak about. My brother, who was older than I am,
Mm-hmm.
3.5 years older than I am, during the period leading up to election, my mom had to make the decision to send him out to the street because the area, well, if you had a son or
Like your community.
yeah, your community, you got to send him out to fight because persons from the opposite side of the the electorate, from a political party would come into your area, with guns and with we call it buckle bone.
So then, like, it's like the men in your community needed to go out to protect the
community.
So she didn't send him out because she didn't want him to be there. It was like, go and help. It's almost like an army, really,
Yes,
right?
yes. So
Yeah.
we were compelled. He was compelled to protect the family.
Wow. And how old was he?
He was as I said, 3.5, 4 years older than I am. So he was like 13, 14. At the first initial stage of it, and so he being exposed to that at earlier than I was, decided that I should not ever do that again.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was, even if I wanted to, my brother tell me that, listen.
So he was now, because your dad was not present in the picture, he took that on that role of like mentoring you like his dad. So he didn't want that for you because he knew how hard that would lead along the way.
Exactly. So that was all totally, that's a different story too, because stuff that my brother went through, that he told me about, that he said, listen, you never come down this road.
Mm-hmm.
this is not for you. Let me do it. I'm already in it. And he sees it as his right to protect his family. At one point in time, you know, we thought we were being attacked by the opposite side. And I don't know if it's freeze or we were stunned. Everybody else in the yard, because it was a tenement yard we live in. Everyone else run apart from me and my mom and my sisters. And when the guys came up with their submachine gun and see us, they said, "Oh, on the right," and they decide that, okay, this yard is going to spare.
Wow, wow.
If it was someone from the opposite side, we would have, all of us would die at that night.
Wow.
But it was our, persons from our community, well, not really from our community, but from our
party,
political
like,
side of the, and those things were cemented in us from an early age, that you got to, for survival, you got to do this for survival.
Wow, wow. It's almost sound like now you're listening this, and it sounds like what you see on the TV in the Middle East, where you see like those young kids being militants and stuff like that.
Yes.
That's just pretty much like the picture that I have in my
Exactly.
mind at this point.
Yeah, because as I said, I was exposed to a lot of violence very early in my life, both from within and from without.
So I have a question for you. Did you grow up going to church as a little kid while all of this was like you were being exposed to all the violence of living in Kingston, in a city where it's like the political parties are polarized, and two parties they don't respect each other for two parties to be able to exist? The climate is only one party can stand.
Yeah.
Did your parents, because I know that most parents in Jamaica, regardless of what they do, they go to church and they send their children to church. So were you also active in the church at that time, or how was it?
I was young in the church, and yes, because one of the things that happened while we were going to church, they used to laugh at us, because person from the community used to laugh at, especially my brother being the bigger one, knowing, Sunday going to church, he's going to church, and they would laugh and mock us.
Why?
Because it wasn't the thing, knowing that he is involved with them and he's going to church. Yes, so it was like, two
different lifestyles.
Two different lifestyles.
During the week, and then he's going to church on Saturday.
Going to church on Saturday.
It doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't add up together.
It doesn't add up. I remember once when we were on a bus going to church, and we were stopped, and the driver was told to empty the bus or to turn back, because the bus would not go any further. They would either shoot up the bus or something, and so we had to, find other ways of going to church, because what had happened then is that used to have a lot of members on our side who used to go to church. Our church is in a different political era from where we are from.
Oh, wow.
But they respected Christians back then.
Mm-hmm.
And we would walk from our area through other areas going to church, and we'll walk and sing in the...
And it was the only time that, like, nobody would want to shoot or hurt
exactly.
you. It's only when you're going to church.
Only when you're going to church.
No other day of the week could you do
you
this.
could do this. And so it was quite fun going to church.
And it just shows you, like, what the fear of the Lord was then. Back in comparison to today. Because today, that would not be an excuse today. Like, nobody would care today.
Yes. And people respected you when you were going to church. It was something different. It was a safe place and space for you to be in when you were at church. And so, even when there was any transportation, you could still walk through the war zone You could still step over the burning tires, go through, because they used to put tires in the road or block the road, and but you still could pass because you were
going to church.
Yeah. And so that was, and
so my question for you is, did you ever join the gangs and become a part of it? Because your brother had warned you that that's not a path for you to take. Did you ever find yourself in that?
Not in the community.
Not in the community.
Not in the community.
So was that in your teenage life or your young adult life? How
Well, attending high school, I was drawn to a group of guys who, quote unquote, they would say bad guys. And it was a mixture of everything, because you want to be a part of it because the protection that it offers. It carry a certain amount of prestige with it.
Oh.
So you are just a part of the group just for that. But growing up in church, and you understand what the standard of God, that this is not right. So you just use it for for your protection and for your safety, to know that you are part of this clique.
Yeah.
So persons won't, because if they trouble you, they'll have to deal with the rest of members.
Yeah.
So
and you're never walking alone. Like, you're never alone.
Exactly. And there's so much stories.
But no, in all truthfulness, did you ever truly feel like you needed protection? Were you ever at risk that you needed protection? Or was it just something that in your brain now, because your brother was a part of it and it's all around you, that you felt like it's cool to do? What was it really? Was it there a need, I should ask?
There was a need. And because the garrison, there's always a need.
So were there not other kids in the school that were not a part of a gang, and they went about their regular day?
Not that easy.
Oh.
Not that easy. Because going to high school, I have something to share before. Well, let me tell you about high school. Going to high school was very hard. Person will give you, I don't remember the money now, but they will give you less than the amount of money to go to shop, to buy their lunch, and to bring it back with change.
Oh my God.
So if a patty was for, because patty and cocoa bread was one of the favorite thing that so they would give you say a patty and cocoa bread is for $20 or $15, they would give you $5 and say, go get a patty and cocoa bread and bring back my $5 change.
So pretty much they're telling you to put the rest of the money on it,
exactly,
and also bring back change.
Exactly. So if you are not a part of a system, a part of a group, that was what would happen to you. Our person would just come and take away your lunch, take away whatever you have. I get into a fight over a T-square. Somebody took away my T-square, and it becomes very deadly. Just that, simple things like that. So if you are not a part of a friend of mine, they threw a desk from the 3rd floor, and it barely missed his head. His eyes and everything. You could see the flesh just flapping from his face. Just because he was a girl that liked him was a part of, the guy that liked, her boyfriend was part of another clique who decided that, this guy here was
school had become like a war zone.
School was a war zone.
Wow.
Person would take gun to school, and you will have, firearm passing around in class. You'll have,
and the teachers knew stuff like this?
Yeah. I've seen, teacher take belt to beat kids, and the kids take the belt from the teacher and beat the teacher instead.
Oh my God.
But even before I even go there, as I tell you, there was this traumatic event that that took place earlier on. In the heights of the 80s, I think there was a young girl who was from the country, the rural part of Jamaica, who maybe she did not know what was happening. She was pregnant, and they actually cut her belly. And persons from the opposite side, when they hear,
So did they take the baby out?
No, we actually, the community, my community, had to advance in the other area with stones and bottles and whatever weaponry.
So when you said they cut her belly, what do you mean?
Yes, to like they wanted to kill her. All right, and there was this guy, he was young then. His name was Marshall. He went and he took her up, and I remember seeing the blood and all of that. And
how old were you at this point?
Maybe 10.
And the reason why I ask you, like, your age group is because you have to understand that the things that you were going through then, though it seemed normal, it's quite traumatic. And
Yes.
it is going to shape your life, and it will show the build-up of, like, because this story is very riveting, and as we progress, you guys will see why we're doing this. Like right now, what he's doing is framing the background so you can understand it better as he moves on.
Yes, so being in this situation, because this is the bloodiest election the nation of Jamaica has ever seen. And you could call me a fly on the wall. I was in some places that I should not have been in. I've heard some conversation that I should not have heard then. At this young age, and the violence and the thing was...
Because you said that your home had a lot of love. Was your mom aware that you were being exposed to this, or was this just normal? Like, was this normalized to everybody? So it's like, okay, my son is there, he knows, and it's okay. Was that like the feeling?
I don't think my mom had a slight idea. I think my mom was very naive. She was, she was living in that time, but, her focus was more on getting by. Alright, because my mom was a workaholic. All she need to do is to go to work to provide, because, and this was a funny thing too. When the neighbors, when the people in my community didn't have any clothes, we always have clothes to wear. Boys would normally be on the street in their brief. We always had pants or shorts to put on, because my mom was always working at garment factory, and so she would always make clothes for us or take home clothes, even when we had patch clothes, because those time you used to patch up pants, just put on something on it, and we still were covered. We still had shoes on our feet, which many kids did not have. So you would say that we were the favored of the of the garrison, because we had stuff that other kids within our our era did not have. So you could see the love, you could feel the love. We both me and my sibling, we play a lot. We Sunday day we would have dandy shandy, you name the games. Outdoor games. We have so much fun. And there was this time, even in our neighborhood, we have a street race. Like one street running against the other street. We do relay, we do 100 meters. And it was just fun growing up. My community was, before the violence, before the 80 election, we just had a lot of fun. And those were, and so when it becomes 80 and the violence, as you asked me if I trusted those guys,
yes,
those persons were already very close to.
Yeah, those are the person that you were doing the outdoor
exactly
games with, like playing
marble, playing
their dad, their mom, and all of that stuff.
Yeah, flying kites. So when I decided to sleep out and being with these guys, were somebody persons who I know would not jeopardize or hurt me. So
So
that
I
was,
want you to backtrack back to now you're in your teenage years and now you're in a gang. Like, what were some of the activities like that, like, to the best of your memory, that you think you can talk about now? That
it was, I wouldn't say yes gang, but more like just friends. Because
no, but when you look back right now, you know that it was a gang.
Yeah, well,
back then you might not have seen it that way.
Yes.
But right now, when you look back, it was a gang.
Okay, well, one of the things that we used to do, or they used to do, is we used to gamble a lot. Everybody have their card, so you play cards. They would smoke.
Did you start smoking too?
Sort of, not really, because
so you tried it but was not interested.
Yes, because I remember there was a crusade on Adel Park Road, and this guy, you may know him, he named Little Licorice, very famous singer. He came with the I think it was Pastor Rainey at the time, and he was talking about when he was on drugs, and he said that he would blow his nose and flesh and blood that came out of it because of the sniffing of the cocaine. So I was exposed to that and know the danger. Yes, the danger of drugs. So when I go to school and my friends are smoking, I would tell them that, listen, I didn't have any breakfast this morning.
Oh, so you said church was literally saving your life.
Exactly.
At that time. So when you were in high school, did you go to church continuously throughout your life? Was you always a part of it? Were you always
a part of church, even when
so it was creating not barriers for you in a lot of things, like your conscience would be alive.
Yes. Even when my friends did not know, nobody know what I do. It was living, double lives. When I go to school, I was this person. When I'm at home, I'm this person. When I'm at church, I'm this person. And so, you gotta know that, okay, I'm at school now.
So you gotta switch into the personality. So you gotta switch
into the personality, and you gotta do, because one funny thing, my mom could not afford to give me, good shoes. We have a shoes, they call it barter. And everybody, is the poorest of the poorest. Well, you still have people who could not afford, but when you wear a barter crepe to school, especially to high school, you could not be a part of a clique or a gang in that shoe. Or even sometimes my mom would, she would give me lunch, and sometimes it will be just some cornmeal porridge or some banana, and dump with some callaloo into a container that I would either eat, because I don't want my friends to see me eating that.
Yeah.
And so, going to school and being a part, and there was more than one clique, one gang that I was a part of. Because I was a part of another clique who, was you would call it the nerds.
So that would bring out the church boy side.
Yeah, because, that person also who was a part of that, clique, there was one person, well, maybe two, who were attending church. So they knew that I attend church, but there was another, side that I have to, switch to go to deal with this, this other group. And so there was a lot of switching and moving around just to, navigate your way through. I was also, another near-death experience at school. A guy, nearly sliced my throat.
Wow. What happened?
He was upset that his girlfriend liked me. And he approached me, and I wasn't going to back down, but he took out his ratchet. I don't know if you know ratchet.
Nice.
Yeah, and I just, flip it, and he come like this, and I, dress back, and it just stick my throat, and when I looked, there was blood. And I decided that I wasn't going to stay here, so I got to get away. So that was, that was it, and I decided that, listen, I got to be strong. I still got to go back to school. So I got to strengthen that side of my, friendship with my other friends who were, who could protect me.
For you. They would have gone out there. That would have been like a battle.
That would be like a battle.
Yeah.
So I would have to, and so, you have to know how to navigate and to get through life, because it wasn't as, innocent as, just going to school, putting on your clothes and going to school like that.
Yeah, wow, I see. I see it.
Yeah, so
because there's so many things that happen, like in your adult life, how did that come into play, being an adult? All of these experience, because this is like pretty much your cultivation. How did this? We're gonna have to do part 2, guys, because like he's like he didn't want to miss anything. He wanted you guys to understand this build up. So right now I want you to like touch your adult life as you just become an adult now, and you have to maneuver in life. But this is pretty much your world, what is normal to you, and how you were shaped. What did you do for work when you became an adult?
I did mechanical
Did you ever graduate high school?
Yes, I did.
Awesome.
I did graduate high school. Thank God for that. And
did you ever have friends died in high school?
Yes, I got friends died in high school, even after,
Like during high school time, right?
Yes, our friends died during high school time, but more died after high school.
Like shortly after they had
shortly after they finished high school, because the violence get even more and more, and
Because I mean, these kids were being cultivated to be like that. How do you just turn that side of your brain off? So you became a mechanic.
Yeah, I became a mechanic.
And you were still in church, like you continued to go to church.
Church was the staple in my life, the only safe place, as I said. And constant in my life. And so, whatever I do, I will always tell persons that, listen, there was this song that 6 man bringing you back. I decided that I rather walk than 6 man taking me back.
So you rather walk to the preacher.
I want to walk to the preacher than 6 man taking me back. So no matter what my activity was, church will always be church. And I will always be there at church. And so, and that also, as you asked what shaped me into my adult life, I consider where I was born and grew up as a university. It teaches me how to read the road. I could go because.
So in other words, you're street smart.
Exactly. You can in the 80s, before you step out the gate, you'll have to peep over your fence, peep over your gate, to look up and down the road, and then you could assess if it is safe to go out or not.
Wow. It's like checking the weather on your phone.
Checking the weather, exactly. So even the color clothes to wear, because in Jamaica, political party have a lot to do with the clothes that you wear. The color, yeah.
So it's that one is green and one is orange, and red and orange,
yeah.
So you gotta you cannot go into one area wearing the wrong color, because you could lose your life
just like that. Just like that.
And innocently putting on the wrong color could cost you your life.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, and so it teaches me to be aware of situation. It teaches me how to assess my life and to assess where I am, even spiritually. What to look out for spiritually. How to choose my friends. How to how to navigate life in general.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So I think we're going to close off here, because as he can tell you, from all the experience that he's been through as a kid, these are the life experience that it gave him. But next week, what we're going to pick up and we're going to go into his adulthood, where now He is a husband, he is a father, he is working and he's navigating his life. And one of the things that we had spoken about is losing his wife, his son, and your brother also, right?
Yeah, well, my brother, I lose my brother.
We're not going to tell them how it happened,
yes,
because you're going to have to tune in next week to hear what happened to his brother and how he escaped all these experiences of death, but in other ways it came and it hit his family. And later on next week we'll go into that, and you'll see more of his life and why this man is so faithful to God, why he has put everything in God, and why he has a passion for God. And I just pray that this story will bless somebody. I just pray that it will cause you to reflect on your life, and if it's even just to be grateful for where you are.
Yes.
Because a lot of times we believe that we've been through so much, and our childhood and all our experience have been so traumatic. But when you look at somebody that has been through so much and see where God has put them and that they're still healthy, they're still living, they're still navigating, it gives you hope that no matter where you are, Christ can meet you right there and save you. So we look forward to having you guys. I hope you guys were blessed by this discussion, and we look forward to you guys tuning in next week to hear the rest of the story.
All right.